It is Sunday, and it's that time of week where I press the wrong buttons again. But we got the intro playing after a little while. We have one guy from Coffee and Ham Radios due to this guy not being clear enough in his communication to people here. But we'll make it a show nonetheless. And Walt's not here today. He's on the Outer Banks enjoying salt water and radios, I think, and
How rude.
perhaps his wife as well. That did not come out as planned.
We'll just blame a language barrier, you right?
Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
we will.
yeah,
That is easier.
It means something different in Norwegian. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, it
Yes.
does. So
No, it doesn't.
Made me spit out my drink.
and we're off on a tangent from the start here. So that's good. Welcome, Steve. Thank you for joining us.
Sure. It's good to be here.
Yeah. And the rest of you guys, we usually start the show with our ham radio weeks. And let's start with you, Steve. Just for those who don't know you or your channel or Coffee and Ham Radios, perhaps introduce that and then go on to what you've been doing ham radio wise this last week.
So I am Steve. They call me TO for Temporarily Offline, which is my channel, Temporarily Offline Ham Radio. I full-time RV, so I travel around the United States and I play ham radio sometimes, and sometimes I just, play RV YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel for that as well. I'm also part of the 4-part harmony of Coffee and Ham Radios, and we do a twice a week live stream on that channel where we try to go fairly deep on an actual radio topic. Like we're going to talk about how tuners work, what type of antenna works this way versus that way, those kinds of things. And that's the Coffee and Ham Radios channel. And then for me, I have been playing around with new radios. This is the Radioddity GC5, so there'll be a video out on this. I also have the brand new Baofeng UV17, this is technically a UV19. And then the UV17 is one notch below this or above this. I don't know yet which way to go, but they are definitely different radios, subtly different radios. Same radio on a chip thing inside, but a little bit of a different, keypad arrangement and flashlight arrangement and stuff like that. The important stuff, the flashlights.
Flashlights are important.
Yep, not the low pass filters.
Right.
I hope it has a blinking pattern.
Well, let's see. So there's the flashlight.
Ooh.
Yep.
There's the blink.
Nice.
And it's supposed to alarm somehow too.
That's RF. No, it's audio. All right.
or is it both?
You know what? Everyone in several meters radius is going to hear that alarm.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And I think there's also a setting where it will broadcast over whatever the current radio channel is as well when you do that. So it's like SOS on like 3 different levels.
Not bad.
Yep.
Kjetil, since Steve was so short on his...
I was supposed to go longer?
Yeah,
No.
we're not completely ham radio workbench long, but we are usually longer than Coffee and Ham Radios.
Oh, yeah. We don't do intros on Coffee and Ham Radios anymore.
Kjetil, besides, well, you've been up to a radar challenge. You took up the challenge from Greg from last week's show. How was that?
It was fun. Just as I remembered it, it was raining, it was miserable, and it was wet. So it was just as it was last time I went out. This is in November, and the guys that started this, that's in South Africa. So that means it's sunny and nice and warm there. In Western Norway, it means that it's rainy, it's windy, and it's pretty miserable, which means that it's a good challenge. So I hiked for 4 hours. I managed to walk 4.7 kilometers. That's about 3 miles in 4 hours. So this was quite hard terrain. It's like it's slippery, it's wet, it's muddy, and everything like that. Got 3 activations in, got 20 QSOs in all. So it was fun. One with you as well, Morten. So
I just saw that you spotted yourself, and I figured before I went to work yesterday, I should have a QSO with you, and I made the video, so I'm happy about that.
That's good. No, it's an interesting way to do it, because like what you're testing is not activating or like operating. It's more like rigging your equipment and bringing the correct equipment for rigging, like quick rigging up and down, and making sure that you can get everything in the backpack while it's soaking wet, all that fun stuff like that. So I'm absolutely doing it again. Yeah, I'm not going to wait 5 years until the next time like I did this time. And of course, I spotted myself on POTA, which means that like within a few minutes, I had all the QSOs I needed.
Yeah, and we
Like
should
magic.
perhaps do a little bit of a recap on Radar Challenge, though, for everyone who didn't watch last week's show.
Yeah, basically you move or you have 4 hours to activate. And if you move by foot, you have to walk 1 kilometer. I think I calculated that was 400, the wingspan of 483 American bald eagles for the Americans in here.
That would be me.
Yep. And so basically you walk for 1 kilometer and then you activate, have 5 QSOs and rig down, activate, and do that as many times as you can within 4 hours. You can go by car or by bike or by boat or whatever else, different distances you have to travel depending on your mode of transport. So the point is just activate and get some training on how you operate in the field, rig up and down. Like,
So you said only 5 contacts per park, not 10?
Minimum 5 contacts, but you need as many activations as possible within the 4-hour limit.
Yeah, it's not relevant or it's not related to POTA or SOTA or whatever else. So if you want to do a POTA activation, you would have to do 2 within the same park to have a valid POTA activation. So
or stay longer and use more time.
Yeah, and I did actually feel kind of crappy because I stopped him in the middle of not a pilot, but like, the small boost you get whenever you get spotted the first time and lots of people start calling. So I got 5 QSOs and then just got QRT and back down. So I felt kind of bad for that. So at the last location, I got 14 QSOs or so. I got a few more just because I knew I didn't have time for anything else.
But it seems like a fun challenge, though. I plan to do one, but as usual, I got home from work at 3:30, 4:30, somewhere in between there. I tend to not look at the time when I get home from work anymore. And that I didn't have the energy for it today after 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah. And like like what he said last week, like what Greg said was, one common thing is packing too much. I did that. I also managed to get it's the first time I ever had a high wind warning on my drone, DJI Mavic 3 Classic. And that can take a hell of a beating compared to the other drone. And it was complaining about high winds, so I had to get it down on the ground quite quickly.
Well, high winds are not as bad as freezing propellers. Don't ask me how I know this.
Yeah, no, high winds, gusts 25 meters per second or so. So gale force, but still, it did quite well.
25 meters per second. That's not high wind for Western Norway, is it? That's moderate.
No, but that drone is kind of whiny.
Okay. I see.
Other than that, nothing like ham radio.
That's not too bad. Tobias? Any ham radio?
Yeah, not a lot of ham radio this week. Let me show you. I have just 2 pictures for you today. Again, the IC2E clone. I managed to order all the capacitors, so they might show up sometime next week.
I'm just gonna do the usual. There we go.
Okay, yeah. As I said, the IC2E clone recapping going on. So all the old electrolytics are out, and I ordered the new ones. So let's see if I ordered the right ones and if they fit or not. But in the end, it's not so expensive. Basically, yeah, I spent like, I don't know, $10 on capacitors and €5 on shipping, and then let's see. If it doesn't work out, then at least I had some fun.
That's a good way of looking at it, though.
Yeah, and there's not no damage done, yeah, and this is an old thing, and I mean, what's the worst that can happen, yeah? The worst thing that can happen, the repair doesn't work, yeah. So there's no, yeah, it's not so bad. Okay, and second picture is my knackered mag mount, yeah. And as you can see, I did a really lousy job in painting my screws here, but basically, yeah, I sanded off the edges, so made sure that they all have metal contact to this magnets, and I also put in the 3 banana plugs so that I can add extra ground wires. And yeah, it's in the process of reassembly, but in hindsight, I think I made a mistake. What I should have done is between the magnet and this triangle piece, I should have put some silicon to isolate, because I'm pretty sure water will get in and it will start rusting. So yeah, the screw on top is nicely sealed, and on the bottom, but in between, I didn't put silicon in, so that was the mistake. But hey, it's all good fun.
Just out of curiosity, Tobias, this brand new mag mount, did it work before you tried to disassemble it?
Yeah, of course. I couldn't keep my fingers off. No. Yeah, the reason to disassemble it, I wanted to put the ground lug of this M8040 in the middle. But that was probably a dumb idea. I should have just screwed it on one of these screws here on the outer side where the magnets are connected. But hey, you live and learn, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, so that was my ham radio week, more or less.
Not too bad though. Bob, any summits this week?
No summits. No summits for a long time now. As I'm getting cabin fever again. So I'm hoping for. Yeah, that's not annoying.
Not at all.
No, not at all. Hoping for some, well, let's say lack of rain or snow next week. So maybe I can do another summit or two. Other than that, radio-wise, there's the 2 nets. I took. I was net controller for both of them. This week, and I did read the QST-LA. This is the
Norwegian bulletin.
Yeah, news bulletin from the Norwegian NRRL, which is like the ARRL, only with Norwegians instead of Americans. So that was fun. I'm more than a little bit dyslexic, so for me to sit at the radio reading a 10-page manuscript, that was interesting, but I think I did acceptably. I hope
you did a lot better than your competition, though. So
yeah,
I didn't know,
you did well.
Didn't know there was a competition, but thank you so much. That's good to hear. And of course, there's a check-in after that. So I think I was taking call signs for about an hour for the check-in, and that was great fun. That was about Kjetil.
One hint there: if you do that from a POTA area, then all of them counts as POTA contacts.
I said we have. I can't run 80 meters at home because of noise issues, so I was doing this from the club station, and I've told them that if they give me the last Sunday of the month, then I can't run it from the club station because that's busy for other activities. Then I will have to do it from someplace out in nature. So I will do that from a summit or a POTA park or both if I get the opportunity.
Just out of curiosity, in order to do the QST-LA bulletin properly, you need an amplifier, right?
Yeah. There used to be a requirement of a kilowatt. You can get away with 500 if you're doing QRP. But at least that used to be the requirement back in the days.
So what is the ideal soda 1 kilowatt amplifier?
I wouldn't know. Based on what I've seen on the signal reports that I get and what I hear when I do listen to a QST-LA when I'm out in nature, I could easily do that on 100 watts. Not a problem at all.
Yeah.
The problem would be combating QSB and all those such things on 80 meters. So
yeah, you need to reach quite far. So you need to go up north of Trondheim, which can be hard with low power 80 meters.
True, but
and you have to fight the RSGB that comes in at 10 UTC or 12 Norwegian time, then they start their broadcast on the same frequency. So you have to have enough oomph to get them away. Basically.
Yeah, hopefully you'll be done. This starts at 10, so hopefully you'll be done by 12 Norwegian
Yep.
time. But yeah,
Well,
I'll try and continue doing it at the.
Then
the
again,
club
it's
station.
an awesome job done, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
well
you so
done.
much. That was I enjoyed that. So it's going to be fun to continue doing that. So let's hope I don't have to do it every month, because basically taking that news bulletin that you get by email and rewriting it into something that flows when you're supposed to read it out on the radio. It's that took a lot more time than I spent actually reading it, for sure. So I was sitting here for 2 hours at least last night rewriting that news bulletin to make it flow in a semi-nice way. So
Yeah,
bit of work.
that's needed. Do you have anything like that over in the States, like weekly bulletin?
We do, and the ARRL puts out a code practice as well. So there's a couple of different versions. There's one that's meant for you. It's called ARRL Newsline. It's meant for you to download and then play over your repeater, and it has breaks at the 10-minute mark to, station identification and so on. And then the league itself puts out code practice, and code practice, I personally am not a fan of it, because they read QST magazine articles word for word, punctuation symbol for punctuation symbol, and that's not over-the-air Morse code. That's somebody rebroadcasting text from a magazine. And like Bob had said, you have to write different for text, consumption than you do for video consumption than you do for audio consumption.
Yeah.
And it's like really heavy on punctuation and really heavy on like the frequency was 146.52 megahertz, and it's MHZ, so it's like 146, and then the punctuation symbol for period 52000, capital M, capital H, capital Z, and it's like this is hard to do. People don't talk that way on Morse code.
You need an AI bot to do that for you.
Right.
We used to have the same with links. Like they used to have like full links in there that you had to do http:// and then go on.
Yep, they do that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's 5 kilometer long URL with cryptic characters, right?
Yeah, and then just before we go on a tangent, I'd like to do my ham radio week.
Oh,
And
Go on, if you must.
Yeah, I haven't really done much though. I went down on a POTA on Monday. It was snowing. It was snowing bad. It was cold. Even though I was in my car, it was not a pleasant experience. And if you add bad band conditions to that, it was not a fun POTA. So that's the only portable thing I've done this week. Besides that, I got a new antenna. I got a 2 meter, 70 centimeter beam, which Retiva sent me. I mounted that. Turns out that the Chinese people don't understand vertical versus horizontal polarization. So I needed to drill new holes in the boom in order to get it horizontal. And did that, put it up today, called CQ forever on 2 meter FD8. Got spotted by this guy, but couldn't hear him back. So I got the antenna up. The 2 meter contest is on Tuesday, I think. So hopefully I'll get to test the antenna a little bit then. But it looks like a nice antenna. It's relatively well built. I have a feeling that rusty screws might be a problem, but besides that, for the price they're charging, it's probably the cheapest 2 meter, 70 centimeter beam you can get. So
nice.
I just have to
Was
see
that
that it really...
NRAU? Was that the NRAU contest you're participating in?
on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
do you have a rotor for your antenna, or?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Otherwise,
have
beam would not make sense.
Yeah,
right?
I got a rotor, and at the moment I have a 6 meter beam, the 2 meter, 70 centimeter beam, and the shortened tri-bander that I bought a couple of weeks ago, which is not the ideal beam for my QTH. It's the radiating element is only 6 meter long, and it's 20, 15, and 10 meter beam. So it's okay on 10. It's almost okay on 15, and it's practically unusable on 20.
Oh.
So, but that might be my QTH. I should probably have it a little bit higher up and not as many hills around me, but I'll see if that stays up or not.
Nice.
Besides that, I've been fighting with my 706 today because it turns out that you can PTT through cat control only on the HF bands if you don't go into the cryptic menu setting 30, which is something that is not related to opening PTT on VHF and UHF. And once you figure that out, after Googling for about 4 hours, using Google Translate on a Dutch amateur radio forum,
Those Dutch.
you figure out that that's what you need to do. And didn't make a QSO, but it works now. So I could have been out, used less energy on a radar challenge, but I opted to stay home and play with the 706.
It's a Yaesu. You can easily spend 4 hours to decipher menus.
It is not a Yaesu, and that's why it shouldn't be that hard.
Oh
though.
dear!
Right.
It's an icon, right?
Icon.
Oh,
yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my god!
That's exactly what I said when he told the story. I said, "Are you sure that's not a Yaesu?"
It is. I think it says icon right there.
I think that.
Okay, well, they
Chinese
learned from their
clone.
mistakes. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah.
Or it's just a knockoff, like Chinese clone of it.
I don't think
Okay.
so. And I still need to remove that diode in order to get it open on the entire 40 meter band as well. But that's for another week. Should we do what's that mode, Bob?
Yeah,
Let's do that.
He sounds excited.
Yeah.
Have you seen the challenge before, Steve? What's
Try
that
it.
mode
Let's
thing?
do it.
Yeah.
let's do it.
But it's not for us to guess though. The viewers send us an email and we do a drawing next week. So
Okay.
Yeah.
if you know, but we got another prize today though, because our viewers like to give away stuff. So I'm just gonna find the right link here and put it up because William Northcote, he's probably in the chat here. He offered to give away an antenna book, and if I can just do this the right way, I'm gonna put it up on screen right now. It's from the RSGB. It's portable antennas for everyone. 50 antennas covering 80 through 70 centimeters.
Ooh,
Nice.
I want that book. Can I take part?
No, but you can probably buy it for 11 pounds plus shipping.
Ah, okay.
But let's play that video that you made, Bob, and the viewers can guess the mode. And as usual, you send your answers to cq@hamshow.eu.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah. In
And
hindsight, we might not have needed all of that to get the idea. So,
It
No.
sounds quite similar.
I have no idea what that is.
that is, I'm pretty sure everyone here has heard of the thing that it is. And I will give one hint now, and we'll play it again towards the end of the show, and I'll give 2 more hints at that time. At
I like
this time, I'll
Steve's
say
answer.
this is not something used on amateur bands. That's the first hint.
Oh, okay. And I'm starting to wonder where you find these modes, though.
I'll tell you after the show.
And I'm wondering how many emails we'll get once you do the FT8 segment on this.
Yeah, and it turns out it was JS8 instead. Just to be me.
So send your answers to cq@hamshow.eu, and we'll do the drawing next week through Bob's overcomplicated drawing algorithm.
It's not overcomplicated. It's fair.
Yeah.
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 Maybe only the explanation is difficult. I mean,
He didn't say it wasn't fair. You can be fair and overly complicated.
Yeah, probably. That should be my title at work, actually.
And
So,
I know we're not supposed to put answers in the chat, but I don't think Steve's answer is correct though. So
yeah, but I do agree. It sounds a lot like that, but I think not the normal loading of games. There was something called a turbo tape. Was that?
Fast
Yep.
load, yeah.
Yeah, and that sounded like that. The normal thing, that was 300 baud or something. That was horribly slow. That's
but I do remember when you copied games with a double tape deck, though.
yeah, those were the
I
days.
never did that. But it does remind me of like a failing old SCSI drive or something like that. Like
Yeah,
if you
it's
went into the server room and you heard that sound, you knew you had a bad day.
Yep.
Yeah, no, it's a radio mode. It's not a failure mode for computers. So,
Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
But since we have Coffee and Ham Radios, or Steve, as he's also called on the show, how about you tell us a little bit about the origin of Coffee and Ham Radios? When did you start the show, and
Yeah.
how has the
So-
journey been since you started it?
It's been a rough and rocky road, my friend. We started the show probably 3 years ago now, I guess, and it was one of those things where at first we had it rotating between a couple of different channels, and Ape on the show, the Smoking Ape, if you haven't seen the show, he reached out to me and he's like, "Hey, you want to live stream today?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I didn't think anything of it, and then like 2 weeks later, "Hey, you want to live stream today?" "Sure." And then we just started doing this pretty routine. He's like, "Hey, you want to live stream today?" "Yeah." And we started to add some more people to it, and then we had a change up in the roster, and we've been the four amigos ever since. It's Chuck from KK6USY Ham Radio Adventures, Jim from FEP Labs Radio, Ape from the Smoking Ape, and then me from Temporarily Offline Ham Radio. And we've just been growing it ever since, and now we build and sell antenna kits as well. You can get those at coffeeandhamradios.com. We have an NFED half-wave, an NFED random wire, a linked dipole. We've got a new one coming out, two new models coming out soon, very soon. One of them's vertical and one of them's low power. And then we've also got mugs and stuff whenever we feel like it.
Yeah, you got a lot of merch on your site there.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get it up here. Let's see.
That didn't come out right, Morten.
It's a Norwegian thing.
No, it's a Norwegian.
It's a Norwegian thing.
It's that kind of day, though.
Oh.
Let's see if I can get it up here. So we have the
Once
website.
again.
Yeah, once again. Yeah.
It's like last week we were discussing Christmas things at work, and we found out we should have a secret Satan project.
Hey, right.
Turns out it was Secret Santa, but hey, who cares?
It's a Norwegian thing.
Let's see what kind of dinguses you have here, though.
I don't think we have any dinguses left at AIOC. They should all be gone, I thought. I got to double check with that.
Yeah, it says out of stock here, though.
Yeah.
You have the sticker packs and the mug there.
Yep, that's a 32-ounce stainless steel insulated double wall tumbler.
How much is that in European units?
The shipping will kill you. It's like it's like $25 US for the mug and $25 for shipping. So it's like
all right. Yeah.
That's cheap shipping from the States.
Yeah.
True.
And you have your antennas here.
Yeah.
And you use the same centerpiece for all those kits, don't you, Steve?
Yeah, that was the design philosophy. Was we were going to start with that winder, and that winder is nylon. It's not 3D printed. It's what they call multi-jet fusion. And basically they just kind of pour it into a mold or something. I don't know. I haven't seen the machines that they do, but it comes out like super durable, and it doesn't have that 3D printed look. And actually, honestly, we just didn't want to get into the 3D printing business. Because if you've ever 3D printed anything in volume,
yep,
you don't want to anymore.
That's the reason why I stopped selling my antenna kits, because it was just too time consuming to make it.
Well, it takes hours to print them out. Yeah.
I use 12 hours per kit, and that's not including packing the different parts and everything. And it just turned out that in order for me to stay on a competitive price point, it just wasn't worth it.
Yeah, you see the price on these. These are about the cheapest NFED half-wave kits you're going to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. So.
And we do ship overseas, but, reach out to us for a custom shipping quote, because that's where the problem is.
Yeah, I've tried that before. And the thing is, though, it just becomes stupidly expensive.
Yeah, and you also have to. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess you were going to say in a lot of European countries you have to calculate in sales tax on top of that.
Yeah.
Customs forms and stuff too.
So
That's true. But if you do decide that you want to sell to Europe, you can probably get one of the big carriers, FedEx or one of them, and strike a good deal where it's not going to cost too much to actually ship it. I have a colleague at work. He creates, of all things, metal keycaps, aluminum or aluminium that we call it, like we call it in Europe, keycaps that he CNC machines, and he ships that all over the world. And he's got a fantastic deal, I think, with FedEx to do the shipping. So if you have a certain volume and you do the work, you can probably get a good deal on shipping into Europe as well, or the entire world for that matter.
just don't use UPS, please.
Or just get a local retailer like Vimo or one of the big European ones to be reselling, because then, then you send one bunch and they fix it. Much easier to get it sold from within the EU and as opposed to the US as well.
But what kind of volumes do you sell these antennas in, Steve?
We usually sell, I want to say, somewhere around 70 to 100 every, I'm going to say 2 months as a guess. So we're selling quite a lot of them.
That is pretty good though. And,
that's respectable.
So,
yeah.
It's not enough to quit our day jobs yet.
Isn't your day job driving an RV?
Well, no, my day. I mean, realistically, you don't want to be driving it all the time. You want to park somewhere spectacular and stay for a while.
True.
Yeah, so we've been here for a week. We'll probably be here for another week or two. And then I'm going out to Arizona to see Quartz Fest, which is a bunch of ham radio operators playing around boondocking in the desert, all on battery power.
Nice.
And then, after
like
that, I'm going to Orlando for Hamcation. And basically, I travel between ham fests and wherever my wife wants to go when there isn't a ham fest.
That sounds like a good life, though.
It does. So I'd love to do that. Yeah, I have to retire first.
No, I'm not retired. I'm retirable. I'm not retired. I still work full time while I do this. I just move on the weekends, or take off an hour early from work on a certain day and move. But realistically, with the way that cellular internet and Starlink is over here, I can pretty much have enough bandwidth to get the job done. And before I was doing a full-time internet connected job, I would not worry about where I stayed as much. So there are some places in the US where you can stay and not have any cell phone service at all. But now I watch to make sure I have cell phone service.
Yeah. And in addition to that, you have Starlink as well, don't you, Steve?
Yeah, and Starlink, all you need is a clear view of the northern sky and about $130 a month.
Yeah.
Well, if it connects you to the day job that pays the bills,
right?
Why not?
Yep. But that's
good.
Sounds like a good life, though. But I guess what are your challenges, though, space-wise? Because I have an RV. There's not a lot of room, even though your American RVs are a bit larger. There's still not unlimited amounts of space there.
Yeah, so you know what a Murphy bed is? Have you ever heard of those things? I don't know if it translates.
Yeah, one of those that just folds up into
it's a bed that folds up into the wall.
Yep.
Yeah, so in my RV I have a Murphy bed, and it folds up, and underneath of when the bed is folded down, is the couch is folded down. So you fold it up, and then there's a couch that folds up underneath of that. So like the living room is the bedroom. So there's one room that's actually two spaces. Where most RVs, there's like a dedicated bedroom that you don't use for 16 hours a day, and then you don't even know that your eyes are closed and you're not paying attention for the 8 hours at night that you sleep. So we've solved that problem. You do a lot of stuff outside, but you'd think remote workers have been a thing in the U.S. very heavily since COVID started. But before that, I mean, I've been working remotely for over 10 years, and there aren't RVs that have like a dedicated office space. There may be like 2 models. And one of them's, an Airstream, and it's over $100,000, and not for me. And the other one, they just put like a little tiny desk in the kitchen that's not comfortable and is in the middle of the house, and no privacy or no dedicated space, not even a curtain. It's like this is not an office. You guys clearly don't use your product, So
I guess that's not just the office part of an RV though. At least
Yeah.
not on mine.
Yeah, I mean it's the kitchen, the dinette. It's right next to the bathroom. You're underneath of the television while your significant other's trying to watch TV, and you're like, I'm trying to work here, so we can. So yeah, I don't know why they do that, but they don't design them to. They kind of only exclusively design them to spend a weekend in. Like
Yeah.
and
Isn't that
that's
in
a
the
thing.
name?
It's
Recreational vehicle?
yeah, true. Who says you can't recreate while you work though?
And how what do you do for ham shack?
I'm
there.
sitting in my ham shack, aka the dinette.
So I guess you have optimized your equipment a little bit for being
I did
on
a
the
lot of
road.
downsizing. I sold off a lot of stuff because I didn't want to just have a high quality, useful. I mean, high quality. Don't get me wrong. I didn't want to have a useful ham radio just sitting in storage collecting dust and getting older by the minute when someone else could benefit from using that. So I did a whole bunch of videos of stuff that I wanted to get videoed and then got all the stuff out the door. And so like for me, I have a. Is it only one? I think I only have 100-watt radio. No, I have two. I have 200-watt radios left. Both of them are mobile radios, so the FT891 and an FT100D. And once I get the FT100D videoed and play with it and everything, that's going to go on to another ham to play with and enjoy. And then, like, these radios that I do for reviews, I do these on giveaways on my Monday Night Ham Nuggets show once I finish all the video, because what do I need 37 handhelds for?
No, I know that feeling. And
Give them to Kjetil. He'll test them to destruction.
I don't know if you've seen his videos on that, but he roasted a Retivis radio over an open flame.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and I've got a radio I could do that too.
I have a spare charger, by the way, Martin, if you need one.
No, I actually I sold that radio. It wasn't for me, so
no, not me either.
But one of the cool things you guys talked about POTA. One of the cool things you can do is you can stay in the park. So U.S. parks, there's like a 14-day limit depending on the state you're in. So 14 solid days of POTA, and then go to another park. 14 solid days of POTA, and go to another park.
That'll give you a kilo pretty fast.
Yeah, I did that. I have 1 kilo for me and 1 kilo for the Toads Club. So I stayed at Rice Lake State Park in Minnesota, did a kilo in a weekend. And then I stayed at Huntsville, Montesano State Park for Huntsville Ham Fest this year. And a whole bunch of us got together and did a kilo there. And I had like 600 or 700 contacts and didn't get to the kilo before the week was over.
You did a kilo in a weekend on phone.
Actually, phone is faster than FT8
Yeah,
when you're trying to do.
It takes a little bit out of your voice, I would think,
It
after
does,
1,000 contacts.
Yeah. So I did as many contacts on phone as I could, but you're also living. So anytime I had to stop and like do dinner or something, I would set up the FT8 station and I'd do FT8 contacts while I was cooking dinner or cleaning up or, like click the button, go take a shower, click the button, get dressed, click the button,
So basically 48 hours on a 50-50 duty cycle. Hey,
Yeah.
Welcome, Jim.
Hey, how are you?
So it's out there
Gentlemen?
on my POTA record. You'll see the
Steve?
contacts that I made. Jim.
yeah, I'll look it up.
So, Jim, welcome to the show. And I guess I'm not good at communicating when I thought Steve was going to notify you guys. And I guess I didn't.
I thought
I
nobody
didn't-
told me. I thought I was the odd man out. Like,
Yeah,
thanks, Morton. Thanks for letting me know. My friends all let me down. And then nobody
but
talked about it all week.
We have a show nonetheless, though. Jim, since you're the new guy here, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Jim. I like ham radio, Diet Dr. Pepper, and ham radio accessories. And I do channel FEP Labs Radio, and I do a lot of equipment testing and spectrum analyzers and oscilloscopes and whatever random thing I come up with that week. Also, Flex Radio is cool.
Yeah. And you do some really nice technical videos. You do some really nice technical videos. So
Thank
it's really
you.
nice to see them. And I do learn a lot from the ones I see there.
Well, I appreciate it. Bob, I don't know how to say your name yet. Yedel?
Bob,
Gentler.
usually.
Bob, yes,
Yeah,
that's you told me it was
Ex-
Bob, but
except
now there's
that we
another
have an-
Bob up there. So
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Kjetil is the
exactly.
correct way.
So,
Yeah.
but Bob's real name is actually pronounceable in English. It's just that
Yeah, it's
Warren
boring.
It's a couple of
is not
completely
so
different
good in
things.
English.
No.
well, see, it's not fair because you guys have like 12 or 15 languages you can drive to in like an hour.
Now I'm
And
looking it
you,
up.
and you could drive, for 8 days in the United States and not find a whole nother language.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
up here it's not that bad. I can only drive to one language within half a day, which is Norwegian.
Right,
But
right,
but down where Tobias lives, there's different languages in every direction.
right.
Isn't it just German in every direction for Tobias though?
Yeah, I guess there's some French
It's
people
probably
close by
worse.
as well.
There's worse dialects in every little village. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I can go to Sweden, but that's pretty much when I go just across the border. Everyone speaks Norwegian nonetheless, though, because
Right.
Norwegians go there to shop.
What I see, I mean, Americans do speak more than one language. We speak Southern in New York and New
Oh, yeah.
Jersey.
Yeah.
Eight
So there's a
speaks-
phrase. There's a
Eight
phrase that
speaks
Jim
bomber.
has. Yeah. There's a phrase that Jim has. He says a phrase that means something totally different and almost exactly the opposite of when I say. When I say bless your heart, I mean like I love you and you're wonderful and you're amazing. And when Jim says bless your heart, he means you're an idiot.
It's kind of
Yeah.
a context thing.
You
Yeah.
naive little.
Yeah, you're a knucklehead,
Soul.
Tobias. That's what we're saying. Yeah. Like when someone does a video and shocks themselves or burns up a piece of equipment or something, my comment would be, well, bless your heart.
Okay, I'm looking out for that comment under my videos next. No.
Right? Right?
I would never burn any kind of equipment.
No.
No.
Except
You-
for
you use the
except
wood
for
splitter,
Redeemer's
right?
radios.
Yes, sorry. That was an accident.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah.
William Northcote in the UK. I get he's got it because the UK's got a whole bunch of different accents too. But I mean, we call so this is a carbonated beverage, right? I think the official generic term is soft drink,
Yeah.
which could be water or Gatorade or whatever, right? But
It's a pop.
up, depending on where you're at in Chicago,
Soda.
Morton, in Chicago, it's a pop, which is where I grew up. In Southern Illinois, same state, different half, it's soda. And then down here, everything is Coke. It doesn't matter if it's I'm going to go get a
Pepper or
Coke. You
Mountain
want
Dew?
one? Yeah, give me a Mountain Dew. I mean, everything is a Coke.
Yeah, we do have the same in Norway as well. A lot of different dialects, and lots of the same words as well. But yesterday, actually, I was in a cinema and watched an Icelandic movie. And Icelandic is really fun because it's like Old Norse. It's really old-fashioned. But sometimes there's a sentence like it's completely like modern Norwegian. So that is fun.
I have the exact same feeling when I speak to or listen to Dutch people.
Yeah.
All of a sudden,
Yeah.
it's just one sentence or a few words after one another that you completely understand, and it's back to gibberish. And it's really disconcerting because you're listening to this conversation in the background, and all of a sudden someone switched to speaking Norwegian,
Yeah.
and it stops.
Sorry, a translator malfunction, right?
I know
Exactly.
that because my Netflix has a category which is called Belgian movies and TV shows.
Why?
Cool.
Because I've watched a couple of Belgian TV shows.
Yeah.
They make good crime shows.
I watched a French one. I watched a French police show. Braco, I think the name of it is. Didn't understand one word in 1,000. I mean, I took French like in 7th and 8th grade, right? So I know how to say, your sister's very cute or stuff like that, but I don't really speak French anymore.
Yep.
And the only problem with watching that kind of stuff is I have to sit there glued to the subtitles because je ne parle français mais un petit peu, and they speak like 100 miles an hour in a dialect, and it's idiomatic French and.
Yeah, but there are some. One advantage here is that we get a lot of DXCC entries very close. So, like on 40 or 20 meters, we can get a lot of different countries. I guess
Right.
over in the States, you can reach the US and Canada and maybe Cuba and some others, and Mexico.
Right, yeah, and the Caribbean, and
Yeah.
the northern part of South America and Central America in there. is
That's
pretty
quite-
easy usually.
That's quite a lot of the DXCCs already, I think.
Oh,
That's gotta
it
be-
is.
The
It is.
Caribbean is a lot of DXCCs.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe a lot. So
Yeah. And then Central America, I can't remember how many countries are in Central America. Once you get south of Mexico, there's Guatemala,
There's-
Honduras, Panama, something,
Belize.
something, something. Belize, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's quite a lot.
But I mean, I can do Sweden on 2 meters, so
Right.
I can get some.
What are you, like a 5-minute drive from Sweden, Morton? You're pretty
Well,
close.
it's about a 20-minute drive, but
20 minutes.
it is about a mile and a half in bald eagle units
Okay.
from my house.
Right?
Yeah.
You can from your house probably walk faster to Sweden than drive.
There is a body of water called the fjord,
Okay,
Yeah.
so
walk
I
and
need to
walk and
swim,
swim.
and this is not the time of year to swim.
Walk
that
fast.
is-
Well, it might be
that is true.
frozen, so you could walk it, just like Bob is saying.
It is not that cold yet.
I have a sporting question. If you actually walk or run and swim someplace, could that be called a diathlon? Just asking.
Biathlon, yeah.
Biathlon.
Also, it's a
Biathlon is-
biathlon, not a
Biathlon,
biathlon. or a cross.
that is skis and guns.
Yeah, that's skiing and shooting.
Two sports.
Yeah, and I really can't understand why biathlon is not more popular in the United States.
Because most of the skiing in the United States is all downhill. It's kind of hard to aim when you're flying downhill at 80 miles an hour, I guess.
Then you just get an AR-15 fully automatic, and
There you go.
you want to hit something.
Right? Spray and pray.
None of us,
That's right.
none of us law-abiding citizens can afford a fully automatic AR-15.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're expensive.
Expensive does not begin to describe.
Yeah, I've heard something about that. So
Does this mean that I have to check that gun reference check mark in YouTube now?
No,
No,
this is a
can-
public safety warning. Do not
This is,
go downhill skiing
Right.
with automatic weapons.
There you
We're
go.
not
You heard it
using
here
them.
first.
Exactly right. Exactly
it's
right.
a sporting, Morten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
it is.
guess, Morton, that would be a triathlon for you, because isn't that is swimming, biking, and running, maybe? Something like that?
Yeah, that's a triathlon.
There you go.
And I am in nowhere good enough shape to do that.
I wasn't going to say it.
We'll just leave that laying on the table.
There is a reason why I am the POTA guy in this crowd.
Yeah.
And I
Drive
leave
up.
soda to these guys instead.
Yeah, I've been threatening for a long time now. I even made alliances with one of your friends to bring you up on a mountaintop. So we're gonna do that soon.
Are you going to helicopter him up there? Because what I'm hearing is he's not really going to climb.
We're gonna take his car keys, and if he wants to walk back, he can do that, or he can join us on.
He makes it or dies. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. One other thing, reason for that, Morten, is that we actually have mountains in this our parts of the country.
Exactly. And since I grew up on the western shores of Norway, I know that you have mountains.
Yeah.
And according to people that are native here, there are mountains here as well, but I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah. Here, like the highest one is what, 900 feet or something? 300 meters?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's
that-
kind of a low budget mountain. I mean,
Yep.
There's what is that? Østfold, is that an association? Is that the correct term for some?
Yeah, it's a soda association.
Yeah,
and
it's
Total of
It's-
2 summits.
yeah. So you can finish that association in one day. That's
Yeah.
You could.
I've done
Worked all
all of that,
summits.
but I've also done an entire country, which is Netherlands, which is also 2 summits.
Alabama has one, I think,
Ah,
and it's probably. I'm trying to think. It's probably about 1.5 kilometers.
tall.
is that
Montesano?
due to the?
Oh,
Is
I
that
forgot
due to the-
Montesano. Mount Cheehaw's 2,500 feet, I think. So yeah, if you add Montesano
Which
is
is
about
taller. 3,000
about a
feet.
kilometer.
Is that due to like permissions to go there, or like you're not allowed to walk there, or is it? Because
No, it's a state park. Both of the the higher one that I was thinking about is state park, and then the one where the Huntsville Hamfest is also on a state park property. So you can go, you can stay there. I mean, when we go to Huntsville Hamfest, where there's cabins and primitive camping and glamping and They'll even let you bring in your motorhome or whatever. Yeah.
Nice.
So it's a POTA entity and a SOTA entity at the same time.
Yeah, that's nice.
I actually found one summit this year that I wasn't allowed to go to. It was
in Norway?
In Norway, yes. And that was mostly because it's a big NATO radar with lots of armed guards around it. And they, like in theory, I would be allowed to walk there, but I think they would be
You'd be staying.
interested in why I was rigging up radio equipment right next to their big fancy radio
Right.
installation.
Right.
Yes.
But
You-
so they
you
have
do
the
not
fully
need
automatic
to-
AR-15s also.
Yeah, they have the rock and roll weapons. Yes.
Yeah.
But then again, you don't need to go close to a military area to experience that. I parked close to the docks here and did a POTA, and the harbor security came and knocked on my window, asked if I was a Russian spy because of all my
You
antennas.
said yes, of course.
And you said, da.
Yeah.
Das bedeutet Tovarich.
That's what you
Schmerz
Vodka
Yeah.
very expensive.
yeah. Like if you just tune into a Russian station then doing POTA or something,
Yeah.
or Polish or whatever, they don't hear the difference. So just off the
he
trail.
was actually pretty nice once he figured out what I was doing, though. So he
Yeah.
watched a couple of QSOs.
We kind of get some of that here too. I've seen stories of guys in parks, and the ranger comes up and hassles them a little bit about what are you doing, why are you here, kind of thing.
Last year I went to SOTA Summit where I had to go a different way that I usually go, because like the main road, this is close to one of the big oil refineries and gas refineries. It delivers maybe a third of the natural gas to Europe or to mainland Europe. And some guys from a country east of us were flying drones around it, which they didn't want. So they put up a lot of armed guards there. So I just snuck up the back of the mountain instead. And when I was up there was a helicopter circling around me as well. So I do think they noticed me.
I don't worry so much about security guards. I worry more about other things, and I will. I think I may have shown this picture before, but I'll show it again. And yeah,
Who said ham radio is not exciting?
That's
if
right.
Morten can
Yeah.
share that picture.
Yeah, that's from your summits on the air trip to Sardinia, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not something you want to see when you go when you want to go to a summit. At least not me. I'm afraid of cows. I think cows have a natural ability to see into your eyes and just know how many burgers you've eaten before in your life.
Right.
And, yeah,
And
so,
Bob,
we
he doesn't
were
even
in
have
the
to
car,
get mad
so
at
at
you.
least
He weighs so
some
much he can just
protection.
nudge you to death.
yeah, I know. That's that's what scares me. Guards or especially private security guards, they don't scare me at all. But cows with horns, nah, that's not for me.
I'm
They know
sharing one
exactly
more
where
thing.
those horns are.
This is from a SOTA Summit. I was operating. I just looked up, and that thing was licking my radio.
That's
Bob,
such a brilliant photo. I mean,
That is a great picture.
Yeah, so
fantastic.
if you go to the SOTLAS for that summit, then that is like the profile photo of the summit. It's just a cow
I
licking
would
the radio.
not have thought about getting my camera up. I would just be running at that point.
No, it
Well,
was
if you
friendly.
run, they're going to chase you because they think it's playtime or you have food.
Yeah. No,
Never
I
show
just-
fear to the hamburger, Morton. Never
Yeah.
show fear.
I told it to go away, and it didn't.
Other Bob, we have cattle here. I've got cattle right outside my window. And the thing about cattle is they don't really have any regard for where they perform their bathroom functions.
Oh yeah.
So, at all, in any way. I seen one head down, chowing down on grass, and the other one standing right there, right next to him. I'm like, dang. So just be glad that's all he did was lick your radio.
Yeah.
Before we go on another tangent, it's about time to do the second play of the Guess That mode. And you're not supposed to guess this mode, Jim. The viewers are supposed to send us an email, so no spoilers on that.
And yes, but it is.
So I'm just going to put the send your answers to cq@hamshow.eu, and we'll play the video, and we'll do the drawing next week for this one.
No less repetitive this time, actually. That
No.
clip. No.
Could I actually just
Fans-
tell them what it decodes into, not what it is, what mode it is, like the message? Would that help?
I wouldn't know.
I have no idea. I mean, if
It
you're
says
worried about me dropping a spoiler, I got nothing.
I'll do some
says-
more hints. I already told the others that this is not something you hear on amateur bands. That was one of the hints that I've given that already. And then there's another, the next hint is that this is normally on what's called HF, between 30 kilohertz and 300 kilohertz. So it's really low frequency.
See, I thought that might have been AOL.
Uh,
You've got mail.
It says drink more Ovaltine.
Yeah.
I get that.
No, it is not what I thought it was, nonetheless, because we've already done that mode. So
And I'll give one more hint, and this is the big one. This is probably going to make the search easier if you really want to dig into it. This is mainly useful for boats and planes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh.
Ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding.
Yeah.
Can I just ask
At
one
that low of
follow-up
a frequency.
question? Is this a current mode, or is it a mode that has been discontinued?
You may not ask that question.
Okay, I'm not going to ask that question.
That narrows it down to like two things.
Yeah, I thought
So-
it was Christmas lights.
That's not a bad
Do you
guess
have-
either.
Do you have last week's coded signal to give away?
I actually deleted that file from StreamYard, so then
So,
I need
so
to
we'll
find
never
it.
know.
I need to.
It's
but-
in
but-
Discord, isn't it? Or I shared it on
Yeah, you
Dropbox
have,
or-
but nonetheless, it was
Yeah,
really the last, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah.
read it last week, and that's.
Oh, I would have known
I
that.
think most people would recognize that. I think.
Yeah.
I have a friend that can decode RTTY by ear.
For real?
I
No
wouldn't
joke.
do-
Yeah, no joke.
That's
I
Amazing.
wouldn't do
hardcore.
that before. Like I said, that's what I can learn before I learn CW.
Yeah, I want to learn to decode CW by ear. I think that would be fantastic to learn. So,
Yeah.
I had a plan to do that, but then I started a YouTube channel, and there's something about not enough hours in the week.
One QSO per day. That's all it takes.
Yeah, but
Your first one's going to be
fir-
super sweaty and stressful.
But first, you got to get to the point where you're able to do a QSO. But I've figured out there might be a way of cheating on this, though.
There
Let's see if I
is.
can switch cameras here, because this
That's the bathroom.
this interface here that I got with my 706 has a CW plug to plug into the radio. So I guess there's some way of doing CW through that. Just haven't figured out how to do that, though.
But
Yeah.
there's-
With that
there
706,
is
you
that,
can use FL Digi.
or Ham Radio
Okay.
Deluxe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can set it up to actually key the CW, not only play audio.
Yep.
It's same
Oh.
as that small little box I tested a few weeks back that I got my first CW QSOs with. But
I
that
ju- I-
had, it
I
had a
just
lot
wanna
of
try
problems
that.
decoding. Yeah, it
Yeah.
had problems decoding it because, like, if it was more than one signal at once, then it just got
Yeah.
confused.
QRN, QRM is really like it. You can practice CW all you want in a vacuum, and then you get on the air, and it's not like clean. One person talking to you at the
Yep.
exact same speed, 100% of the time. It's like humans.
Yeah, it's like a pile up in a contest. Like if there's 10 people calling at the same time, you have to be able to pick up one if you're
Yeah.
good at it. Just training.
Station starting with K, please.
Yeah.
That gets me
starting
one
with India.
1/3, 30% of the people calling me on POTA would have a K in their call sign.
Yeah.
I was doing POTA hunting earlier, and there was a couple of stations that, I mean, they were huge pileups, and I don't know how the guy even figured out call signs on phone. I could not imagine trying to do a POTA or something like that with a pileup going on in CW when you got 57 people banging out call signs.
Ooh.
And you end up with K55U6VDTQFI. What the hell was that? Is that even a country? Is that a Martian call sign? What the hell?
Yeah. That's one thing I wondered. Like when people start landing on the moon and Mars and like setting up ham stations there, what will be their prefix?
There are a few prefixes still not used.
Yeah.
So probably they'll assign them to the planets. Let's hope.
Yeah, it's the same.
And then the U.S. astronauts only have to be a tech to do that, though, because HF is no good.
Yeah.
There's no atmosphere.
Why would I mean, they use HF now. The ISS does.
Does it?
No.
Yes. The Martian, the pictures from Voyager and all the satellites and all that. But every picture you've seen of another planet came over HF.
HF does not penetrate the atmosphere, though.
It does sometimes. That's
if you
the
beam
problem with
right
HF.
Well, it's probably to a satellite, but there is an HF set. They use HF.
I have to look into that. I might be wrong.
Perhaps if there was some vast
I could be
repository of
completely full of
knowledge.
crap, but I've read The Martian 5 or 8, 10 times, so I'm an expert on Martian.
Oh yeah.
Good to know.
And unlike most of y'all, I was alive when Apollo 11 landed on the moon. So see, science, man. Science.
That annoys me a lot about the Martian. Like the guy is a mechanical engineer. He fixes everything, but he can't make a simple antenna to hook up his.
Jim?
He had all of the radio gear. Like he
Jim,
should be able
according
to make some.
Right. According to Wikipedia,
Yeah, he should be able to
Jim,
make
you're
something
wrong.
that would make him orbit.
Yeah. William
We all
says
know
that
Wikipedia is right.
William says that it's low VHF low band. So we'll look into this and get back on next week's show.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to be here to find out, and I will accept your thank yous. It'll be okay.
I'll send you the StreamYard link, Jim.
Okay.
Yeah. If you guys know EEV blog, he has a video or also has a channel called EEV Discover, and he has one from the Deep Space Network that goes deeply into how that works and how they collect the data from Voyager and all of the other ones. So that's quite interesting, or at least I remember it was 5 years ago when I saw it.
I would suspect they have a bunch of different radios. I'm just 90%, 83.6% positive that they do have HF on those things.
But let's we don't use HF on amateur radio satellites, though, Jim.
No, we don't.
There's 10 meters satellites.
Yeah.
That's
Which is not technically HF, I guess. Well, yeah, it is. 10 meters,
10 meters is HF.
Yeah.
So
okay, we'll
figure this out, and there's could easily be a topic for a future stream.
Yeah, if any of our viewers know this, you are welcome as a guest on our show.
Yeah, see, now I'm doubting myself.
I just enjoy the YouTube channel from Curious Mark, where he restores all the old Apollo gear. I mean, that's just such a great. I mean, it's like history, forensic, and all the technology that they invented in the 60s. It's so fascinating. I really enjoy that. So everyone check out that channel. It's really worth it.
You know that guy cannot be married, Tobias. He cannot be married, or else he has a room somewhere else.
Yeah.
There ain't no way my wife would put up with all that stuff in the house. Baby, I am recreating the Apollo 13 command module computer layout.
I posted a video here about how to connect to Voyager. And we're not going to be able to do that with our ham radio gear, sadly.
Yeah.
But if you said it was a 10-meter satellite, maybe they have CB as well?
Breaker.
Yeah.
I think that's pronounced 11 meters. I think,
according to Walt, it's not CB; it's 11 meters.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Everything for the space truckers up there.
Yeah.
Space truckers.
Exactly. Yeah. We built an Echo model and a Roger beep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we are getting past the hour mark already. So perhaps we should try to wrap things up a little bit.
I'd like to say that this is the first time we've stayed completely on topic.
Yeah.
That is because the topic is no topics, just tangents.
I think that's our only hope for staying on topic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not as bad when the entire video went off topic, like with Oscar Mike Zero Echo Tango here, when we didn't even get to the topic.
No, where we actually had to change the thumbnail and description after the stream.
Yeah.
Great times.
Speaking about Paul, Oscar Mike Zero Echo Tango, I had a little bit of an email conversation with him last night, and he's sending the shortwave radio to, I don't remember who won, but from the Faroe Islands.
Yep.
That won the radio contest.
I'm not going to try and pronounce that name. That's it's going to end in tears. So, but
what?
I have no idea. I'm not
What
playing.
is it? It can't be worse than other Bob's name. Bob, let an American try to butcher it. We can butcher anything, man.
Let's see if I can find his call sign. Anyone remember? If he's in the chat, can you identify yourself, maybe?
I don't
know. You posted in Discord, didn't you, Bob?
I did in the admin channel. I gave you his details. Let's see if we can find it.
I'm just gonna put his first name. And if you're watching, this is not to make fun of you. This is to make fun of us trying to pronounce your name.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
totally
stupid Americans. So you just,
Jogvan.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty close.
But you're Norwegian. You're not from the Faroe Islands, so the fact that you think it sounds so reasonable, that doesn't really mean anything, does it?
I'm from the south side of Chicago, man, so I don't know. And I live in Alabama, so my brain is totally confused because I translate from southern to Chicago all the time.
Yeah. It is fun when you see there's a lot of Scandinavians that live over in the States, or that are descendants from Norwegians, and how the names changed over time, like Larsson or Larsen or whatever, and how you pronounce them now compared to how they're supposed to be pronounced. The same with the York. Yeah, same as York as in New York. Like the place for that it comes from a place name a bit north of me called Jorvik. And then it's just
so close.
Yeah. Good old
sound identical
name.
to me.
Yeah.
So how is Larson supposed to be pronounced?
Larson?
How is Larson? Yeah.
Larson.
Oh, okay.
Larson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very different, but close enough.
Well, I mean, even the British don't speak proper English. I mean, we have Birmingham, Alabama, and they have Birmingham English in England.
No, I think that's called Brummie or something like that.
Yeah, we had Callum on our stream yesterday, and he did say Birmingham, which completely threw me for a loop when he said that. I was like, he's translating to American.
Yeah, he translates depending on who he speaks to. I think he's fairly good at that.
Right.
Seems like.
Yeah.
And 45 Auto says blame the Brits for York.
Yeah. But
perhaps blame the Vikings for going to England in the first place.
Yeah, because York was a Norwegian settlement.
Yeah. Battle of Hastings.
Yep. Lots of history over there. Yeah.
And see, y'all have invaded each other like 100 times each.
Yeah.
And the French and the British alone. I mean, those two, it's like a brother and a sister all the time.
We even settled over in Canada and down the west or east coast of the U.S.
Yeah, there's a lot of Norwegian, Swedish, in the northern tier states around here, Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas was heavily settled by that.
Do you know what was the first Norwegian settlement in the U.S. though, Jim?
No, I do not.
That was Norway, Illinois.
Get out of town, really?
Yep.
Okay,
that's creative.
Original name there.
Excuse me. I think there was a Norwegian there about some 1,000 years before that.
That was Canada. That was Newfoundland.
Yeah, but they went south down
Yeah,
in New York City as well.
And
but
it was not a permanent settlement, though.
that was
Okay.
because of the
Yeah.
natives were annoyed at them.
Yeah.
Let's leave that one alone. That's a whole kettle of fish there.
But
You
there-
have
there-
some pretty savage natives when they scare away Vikings. I think that's impressive. Yeah.
But
Right.
there's actually a town in Virginia called Norge, which is Norway in Norwegian.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
And that has its name for when they built the railroad. They wanted Norwegians to work on the railroad, so everyone settled there.
How do you say Norway in Norwegian?
Norge.
Okay. There's extra words in there.
Or
Nordiga. Nordiga?
Almost. That
or
would be
Noreg.
understandable, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is
And
now
I think
the European ham radio and linguistics show.
Linguistics show.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can give you a very long explanation for about an hour about where the name came from as well, but maybe another stream.
I think we'll do as they do on Top Gear, where Jeremy Clarkson says, on that note, that's today's show. So thank you guys for being on and making this a great show. And for those of you who don't watch Coffee and Ham Radios, it's actually on at the time where Europeans are awake on Saturdays.
We can't help that y'all on the wrong side of the date line.
But thank you for being on. We'll see you next week with probably another topic as a general guideline. 7-3.
7-3.
Bye, guys.